I was curious what your thoughts are on this. So I had like this goal set on I would say I only have 8 people on my list. So I'll say my top 8 that I want to like meet, and I want people that are gonna know me. Like I kind of had this like they talk about this all the time. Like this is not really fitness related, but it is because you guys will see in a second. But they say like you are who you hang around with, right? Like you've heard that expression before, and I hate that expression so much. I'm an extroverted person, but I also think I'm very introverted at the same time too. Like, I'm not one to, like, I don't mind being the center of attention at some place or talking to people, but at the same time, like, I keep my circle very, very small. I mean, you know that, like, you know, here's the circle, Pete, and you're still on the outside of that circle after all these years. But anyway, so, you know, I keep my circle really tight, but they talk about, like, how your circle is going to influence where you're going to go in life and where you want to be. So I have a question for you, and then I'll talk about it myself. So, or if you need a minute, I could talk about mine. Who are the 8 people, and I'm only saying 8, there's no magical 8, I just have 8 on my list. Who are the 8 people that you would want to know who you are and, like, be friendly with? In this world, anyone, I'm talking about any person in the world. Like, who are the... I have 8, so that's why I'm saying 8.
I don't have anyone yet that I'm gonna list, and I could think about it and come back to it.
But
the reason I want to say that, I want to preface this by saying it is, it's gonna sound very like I don't know if the term is like hippie or whatever you want to call it, and if I heard myself say this like 10 years ago, I would probably like rip myself apart. But I have to say, as I've gotten older, my philosophy on a lot of these things with life and like success and all this stuff is, you just take your own path and you just go with it, right? And it doesn't necessarily need to fit the mold of what somebody else who's successful says is the path to take. So like, let's just say, for example, I want to be the best bodybuilder in the world. Not that that's my goal. I'm saying, let's just say that's my goal. And I idolize somebody like Arnold. He's going to give you his map and say, like, you know, I got to where I'm going to go.
I'm not talking about, like, having them as a mentor. I'm just talking about, like, like, getting to know them, like, being friendly with them. Like, I wouldn't be able to pull up my phone and text this person.
Right. I mean, I'm going to talk about that, too, but, like, this kind of ties into it. And I think that a lot of times, like, so if I idolize Arnold, I'll take a different approach with it. Like, if that's my idol and I want to get the same results as him, obviously Arnold's going to be on my list. Like, I don't want to associate with Arnold. It would be awesome if Arnold texted me. So I put him on my list. He's definitely on my list, right? But at the same time, I'm also totally okay with the fact that if I met Arnold and he didn't like me or he didn't want to text me, that I would be okay with it now. But like 10 years ago, I would just say I have to be in his circle, and if he texted me or whatever, like, I have to be somebody he respects. At this point, you know, I think that as I've developed and I've kind of gone in my own direction, my goal has always been, you know, you're going to do your own thing, and then you're going to bring in those people that naturally are going to come into your life as a result, rather than wanting to associate with them, if that makes sense.
It does.
But then to answer your question, you know, if we're talking more of just like who would want to be your...
Who would be in Pete's circle?
All right, I gotta think about this. I'm going to give you a couple and then I'm going to come back, okay? Because I'm going to think about it.
You want to do 4 and I'll do 4?
Yeah, let me do 4. So I would put Arnold on my list just because, like I said, always been somebody I've idolized. But like I said, I would preface it by saying, you know, if naturally Arnold came into my life as a result of everything I was doing and putting out there, I would want to do that rather than just saying I want to be Arnold's friend, and I'll do whatever it takes to be Arnold's friend. You know what I mean?
Well, I'd say friend as an example, but you know what I mean. Like someone like you could pull out your phone and just say, hey Arnold, you have the time to hop on the phone. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like someone to be in your circle.
All right, so Arnold would definitely be number 1. I have to think, man. Let's just you give me a couple and I'll come back.
All right, so you go, I'll go.
Okay.
And these are in no particular order for. Okay. Well, are they in particular order for me?
And let's state why. Let's state why. Too.
Yeah.
Arnold's gonna be on the list because he definitely got me into bodybuilding. You know, I was a huge fan of Arnold as a kid. You know, I think every kid, you know, has like a superhero they look up to. You know, not that he was a superhero, but in your eyes, he was the Terminator for me. You know. He was the action hero. So to me, you know, as a kid, naturally, I'm like, okay, when I grow up, I want to be big and strong. I want to be like Arnold, right? He got me into bodybuilding. As a result, I found out that he was a bodybuilder before he was an actor. I was a huge Arnold fan before I ever knew he touched weights. Second, I found out that he was into bodybuilding, or previously he was a Mr. Olympia before he got into acting. That just like made me go to the gym, and I've never been the same since. So obviously that would be a huge accomplishment. I think anybody in the bodybuilding industry, you know, except for people that love to throw that argument about him with the jab lately, you know, that a lot of people like disowned Arnold after that. Listen, forget about that. You know, still the guy who put me into bodybuilding is somebody that, you know, at some point I'd like to, you know, if he was my friend, that would be cool. So I'll put him on my list first. and then I'll come back with a couple more.
Right. Mine aren't in order,
okay.
But Arnold's on my list, so I don't want to repeat him twice. So I'll just explain why Arnold's on my list. So I actually met Arnold, and it was a huge letdown. It was a huge letdown. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I met him, I shook his hand, he talked to us about cigars, and it was a huge letdown. I met his kids, and it was just a huge letdown because I built this guy up to be like this icon for all the reasons that you said, and then I met him, and it was such a letdown. But he's still on my list because of, not so much for the bodybuilding thing, and like, you know, I could go down the rabbit hole of what you said, like I owe my life to him in such a sense, because if I didn't see him, I wouldn't have started down this. But I idolize him for a lot of the stuff that he did outside of fitness. The guy came from nothing. And, you know, is where he is today because of his work ethic. And people like that motivate me so much more. So I think that's why he's on my list, more so than the actual, like, you know, whatever. But yeah, I met him. I was a lot younger, and I was also starstruck when I met him. I didn't know what to say, dude. I was just standing there, like, oh my God, Arnold's here. And I didn't say anything, and I don't know, I didn't have the personality I had now then. I was young. I was like 18 when I met him, or whatever, 17 years old when I met him. So I was like a stupid kid. But, so he's on my list. He's not number one on my list, but I figured I'd just throw that back out there because
I had a very similar experience when I met Lou Ferrigno. I might have been 21.
But he's not on your list, so let's skip Lou Ferrigno. He doesn't even deserve the story. For what he did to you. Basically, he told Pete, if you want to take a picture of me, you owe me $20. So Lou's out the window. So go ahead. Go. Who's your second person?
Well, no. Let me get, since we both did Arnold, give me one more. And then I'll give you the second.
So Alex Hormozi is on my list. He's actually, I mean, he's listed number one, but that guy, like, I've consumed almost all of his content, and that's someone who I want to be around because that's like a next level thinker, someone who's like ahead of the game. His ideas are just, I don't know, I idolize him too, and I hate to use the word idolize, but he's definitely on my list of someone who I want him to know who I am, and I would love to put him in my circle because I think that he is someone to look up to. He's got great ideas, and he's an influencer in the sense like he's influenced so many people and influenced a lot of decisions that I make in my business as well.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, that's always, you know, if I were to pick somebody that, you know, someone I want in my circle, let's say, it would be mostly for somebody who's been where I'm trying to go, let's say, you know. And, you know, like I said, the difficult part for me to kind of pick people out now is the path that I'm trying to kind of go is something that I haven't seen somebody else do it, let's say, where I'm trying to follow that same path. So like I said, I'm kind of just going my own way with everything. And, you know, I don't really have anybody that I could think of that's somebody that has done it before where I say if I associated with them, it would be interesting to learn from them because they've already been there and done that. So I would think that if I had to add somebody to the list, it would probably be somebody who necessarily I don't follow or am a big fan of, let's say right now, but they've, in whatever
you have to be specific. Don't dance around the question.
No, I have to think. I'm actually trying.
All right, so I'll go again. I'm
actually thinking it out loud. But what I'm trying to get at is anybody that's kind of like blazed their own way in whatever field that they've been involved in. I think is somebody who I would, let's say, idolize or want to associate myself with more, just for the simple fact that they've kind of done their own thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So the next person I have on my list, I have Grant Cardone on my list. That guy's a marketing genius. You know, despite what other people say about him, people don't like him. The guy's a marketing genius. Someone who I definitely would like to be around all the time. And, you know, I would love to have him in my circle as well. But I think, like I said, picking these people and having, like, this list, whether I accomplish the list or not, I think it's just motivational to know, like, this is the league that I want to put myself in type of thing. But he's on my list for a lot of reasons. One, he did a lot with real estate. Again, like I said, he's the marketing genius. Like him or not, he is everywhere like he claims he is, and he is. That was another one. Do you want me to go again?
I don't have any more, man. I'm really...
you just have Arnold on your list? Dude, out of all... Anyone, doesn't matter who it is. See, like, for me, okay, I'll say who's not on my list. Like, somebody would say, okay, well, you want to talk about successful people, why not Warren Buffett? I don't think I would get along with him. He's I don't know, we have nothing in common, and it just doesn't... Yeah, he's successful in what he does, and of course I would love to have a conversation with him as well, but he's not someone that I would want in my phone.
Right. I
mean, if he was on my phone, I wouldn't complain.
Here's the thing, I don't really want too many people in my phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't want to clutter with too many people.
I'll go again. So the other person I want on there too is Derek from More Plates, More Dates. I think that he has a really good, unique spin on the fitness industry, and his knowledge. He's a really smart dude, and it's just someone that I would like to again be in my circle and be around and know and have that like kind of connection, because I think he talks a lot about like hormones and a lot of just he's really knowledgeable. And he's not like some dumb fitness influencer. So he's another person who I would want on my list. We tried to say Arnold already. So Ed Milet, do you know who that is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love his podcast. I listen to his podcast all the time, and he lifts. But the reason why I like him so much is he gets emotional like on every episode, and I like it resonates with me so much. Like this guy, like just the way like he gets emotional and the way like he talks, and like he's very inspirational. Like I get inspired when I listen to his podcast. So that's why I like to listen to it. So he's someone who I would love to have in my phone. Like I'm having a bad day, give him a call. Like Ed, what's going on? And he just like lift me up and tell me how he loves me because he tells everybody he loves him. But yeah, I don't know. That's someone who I would want on my list. You want me to go again?
Yeah, go ahead. Run through the list.
So Pete's got one person. One person.
And I gotta tell you,
someone else, dude.
I gotta tell you, and the funny thing is,
it could be for any reason, man. It doesn't have to necessarily be just for success. Maybe you just think that person's cool and you want to hang out with them.
Right, but this is the thing. If I even had Arnold in my phone and I would just text him saying, "Hey Arnold, what's up?" I don't think I would even text him that often. And I'm not to say that to sound like I'm being a dick. Like, oh, he's
you're
my
taking
friend,
it so literal. You get my. That's not the point.
I know. But I'm trying to explain kind of how my mindset is with it too. Because like, I don't look at too many people and say like, I want to be friends with them, but if I were to be, that would be cool. If that makes sense. If like we naturally like clicked and vibed and like we had something that was mutual, right? It's
so little, dude. You don't have to be their friend.
It's my honest answer.
The next person I have is Jordan Belfort. I love the Wolf of Wall Street movie, and just the fact that guy was able to do what he does in selling is just something that's so inspirational. Again, another person who I would love to pick up the phone and say, Jordan, what's going on? How's things? Just talk to shit. Just shoot the shit, and talk about things. So that's another person on my list. I have Kevin O'Leary on my list. I love that guy from Shark Tank. I think that he is the most... Everyone hates him as a shark, but I think he just tells it as it is. Like, he tells all these guys, like, just take the idea behind the barn and shoot it. Because it's a terrible idea. Like, so I love that, like, candid, raw, like, honesty. So again, that's someone who I would love to have in my phone too, and pick up the phone and, Kevin, what's going on, buddy? I have this idea I want to run by you. So that's another person.
Okay.
Not sparking any ideas here.
It's really not, man.
Damn.
I hate to be the downer of the podcast,
man.
Damn.
All right, my last one then.
I'd have to really sit down and think about that long.
My last one, and I think you're gonna find this a little bit funny, is the Liver King.
Okay.
I would love to be friends with that guy, man. He seems so freaking cool to hang out with.
I would hang out with the Liver King.
I would love to hang out. Like I would love for him to be my friend. Like call him up, yo, I'm in Texas, Liver King. Let's hang out. And he does all this cool shit. Mm-hmm. He's driving ATVs and eating testicles. I mean, it's just cool shit. I would love to hang out with that guy. I would definitely love to go and work out with the Liver King. Like I would not want to work out with of course I would want to work out with Arnold, but like I'd rather work out with Liver King than any of these other like bodybuilders. Well, maybe Chris Bumstead. I actually think he's pretty cool, but he's not on my list. He didn't make my list.
I could give you a really good list if you asked me who I'd want to train with.
Well, that's not the question. I know that's not the question. But this is why you need to get out of fitness. Mm. You're too much in fitness. Like
got a big
it's sad that you have a list of who you'd rather work out with and who you'd rather be friends with.
Excellent point, man. And I think that's the most important part we've come to with this podcast today. Is that I could give you a list of like 20, 30 people I would train with. But
train with is
different.
If you ask me
one person I want to be friends with and hang out with, Arnold was the only one.
We're not ending this podcast until you come up with one more person. And it's got to be someone outside of fitness. Okay. Come on, one person. Say an actor, damn it.
I have a few actors, but I think I would... Yeah, so a couple of actors, let's say. No, because I can't use the same example. It's basically going to tie back into the same thing, because my first actor would probably be Sylvester Stallone, and I'm not... No. He doesn't count. I'm taking that off the table for you. Let me think about this for a second. I was talking... you know what? This is kind of cool. I would love to...
I can't believe how hard this is.
It's very hard for me. And I'm being totally honest, because I don't want to give a bullshit answer. I want to give an honest answer. But I was thinking about this the other day. If I were to get out of... Not that I want to get out of fitness. If I were to associate myself with something like a person, like you're saying, outside of fitness, I would love to move I would love to pick somebody from, let's say, like a pro athlete, let's say, because I feel that I could resonate the best with someone who's reached success in their life. If I had to pick somebody outside of fitness or bodybuilding, I would definitely say a pro athlete, let's say. Like if we talk about, like, let's say, Michael Jordan, let's say, or we talk about, anybody who you can consider, like I was even talking about hockey recently, like Wayne Gretzky, right? I'm not a huge hockey fan. I played hockey, but the fact that when you think hockey, you think Wayne Gretzky. If you had to pick somebody, when you think basketball, you could say LeBron James, you could say Michael Jordan, anybody. Those are the type of people I would like to hang out with. And yeah, if you ask me, now that my mind's kind of working, if I were to text somebody, like I would find it really cool if I could text Michael Jordan and be like, "What's going on? This is my situation."
Well, yeah, I love Michael Jordan too. I idolized Michael Jordan growing up as a kid, and of course, don't get me wrong, if he got my number and we became friends, that'd be cool too.
Right.
But he's not. I don't know. He didn't make my list, and I don't know why he wouldn't make my list.
It's goal related.
Right.
You're not trying to
selfish
follow,
reasons.
You're not gonna necessarily try to follow in that same path.
Even though you could make the argument that Michael Jordan is very, very successful with everything.
Right,
His sneaker deals are insane.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah,
so
if you even a business standpoint.
Yeah, he has a lot of restaurants and stuff. He has his own obviously Jordan brand, period.
Right.
And you want to talk about branding, he's the best.
Yeah.
But he didn't make my list. I just don't think that. Listen, I shouldn't say it like that.
Right.
Michael Jordan came into my life. I'd definitely be friends with him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like to be in my circle. He'd have to work a little bit hard to get in my circle. That's what I'm going to say.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
So would it be Wayne Gretzky? Would be number 2?
Yeah, I would put him up there. I don't know if I'd say number 2, but he'd probably be on the top 10.
Okay, so who would be number 2? Damn it! Give us number 2.
Number 2.
Everybody, all right. While you guys are waiting for Pete to come up with number 2, I want you guys to comment below and let me know your top 8 people you'd want in your circle. All right, number 2, Pete. Go.
No, I don't want to say number 2 here. I can't pick an order. Can I just give you a few? I'm gonna give you a few.
Rattle off the next 2 and that's it.
I want to. This is gonna.
I don't want you to hurt yourself.
This is gonna sound way outside the box, and people are either gonna take a strong like or dislike for this one. But I think this is an interesting one, and I'll give you the reason why. Machine Gun Kelly.
Really?
Yes.
You know why? All the people.
Do you know why?
Because he's dating Megan Fox.
Well, okay, you use that as one example, right? But no, we're going to talk about, again, the example I gave previously about kind of just blazing your own path and going your own way, right? He started more in the rap industry, let's say, right? People either loved him or hated him, right? I'm not even going to talk about success on this one. I'm not going to say he's the best musician or anything. But a great example is, the guy started out in rap. He kind of had a name for himself. People either loved him or hated him, right? And then he completely rebranded himself. He said, listen, I'm totally outside, or, I made a name for myself. And, some people would say, okay, I'm a rapper. I have everything I need financially. I'm kind of set here. All I got to do is keep, producing this music, and, I'll be set. He said, listen, that's not my passion anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. During, the quarantine and everything, the guy said, listen, I just want to make rock music now. Guy came out, completely revamped himself. He started making rock music. He's totally different path now. He got a lot of heat for doing that. People in the music industry hated him. But he said, listen, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do my best at it and make the best music. So, again, I'm not even really into that type of music. I'm not going to say, I want to hang out with Machine Gun Kelly because I like his music. But just the mindset that he had to say, listen, I was already successful. I could have just stayed here. I was already successful. It's very easy for somebody who gets into, acting, music, whatever, make a few albums, and then that's it. They just chill. But he's like, listen, I'm going to go on to the next thing. So I think all the people that I would pick have done that in some capacity. It was the same thing with Michael Jordan. Played basketball, said, I want to go play baseball. Obviously, basketball is his real thing, but then he went on to business, all these other things. He could have just said, I was the best basketball player, retired, and that's it. But he's MJ.
Yeah. I might have to add MJ to my list now that you... Not that I didn't know about him before, and I don't know.
Because I've talked to you about this too with myself, because again, if this ties back into goal setting, in my life and people that know me, I'm the bodybuilding guy or the fitness guy or whatever. But I would always like to say, listen, I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish in fitness. Now I'm going to go on to something else. Whatever at the time, that's my desire. If I woke up one day and I was like, listen, I love bodybuilding fitness. It's never going to be, something that I just move away from completely. But now this is my interest. And I want to take that same, heart and desire I applied to fitness and bodybuilding into this new endeavor. And, whether I'm successful or not, that's the path I want to go on. And I think that's the cool thing about life as you get older, too. You can always try different things. You can always go into different areas of your life. Never going to abandon bodybuilding. But I always admire people that say, listen, I did the best I did at this. Now I want to move on to something else.
And that's that, man. So I think that was a cool kind of off topic. Well, it was kind of on off topic because athletes are kind of they train.